All right. Hello, viewers. Hello, Chef Kevin. Welcome to the AI Chef's Kitchen.
Well, it's good to be here as always, Chef David.
Okay, a little cheer from the crowd.
Sounds like we've got a young audience demographic. I don't know. It sounds like a lot of maybe it's bring your grade 9 to work day or something.
AI's for everyone.
That is true. And I mean, the kids growing up with I mean, they're really going to be the superstars, right? Because all of these tips and tricks, I mean, they're going to learn them from an early age.
Yeah, they won't. Oh God, I was in the worst rabbit hole this weekend with Gemini. Like I'm mad at Gemini. If
Uh-oh.
Gemini was personified, I'd be throwing food at it. I was in. I don't know if we'll have time for it today because we have a lot of Microsoft Ignite news that we really want to get to.
Right.
But yeah, I'm thinking the next generation is not going to have the issues that I had this weekend. Oh boy! At the end of the day, everything worked out, but. hmm,
Okay. Sounds like it
It,
was frustrating.
Yeah, it was 100% sure that if you tried one more thing, this will solve your problem. 100% sure. Try that. It doesn't solve the problem. If you're 100% sure. Okay, but anyway, let's get on to the news.
Yes.
One big one. Apple announced that Siri is going to get smarter, which we knew was going to happen. I mean, Siri can't continue to be like,
It's about
you know,
time.
yeah. I mean, Siri is still, it needs to sound like an LLM already. And and Apple is developing their own, and I'm sure it's going to be. I mean, they have resources, they have developers, but they decided they couldn't. My take. They decided they couldn't wait. They need another year, and they can't wait. They can't let Siri be dumb for another year. So they partnered with Google, and Gemini is going to be powering Siri. Gemini that I'm mad at in the fight with, but it's still smarter than Siri is now. So I don't know how soon, but pretty soon. I'm guessing this is going to be pretty soon. Hey Siri, here's my question. You're going to get an LLM answer and not a Siri, Alexa
Right.
kind of answer. So this is a big deal, and it shows the power of this. The fact that Apple's like, "No, we can't wait. We have to do this now. Wait, they're going to have their own. They're going to switch it over. It's not going to be 5 years from now. It's going to be a year from now. But even that year, they're not waiting.
Right. But I think, the key thing is, and I think Apple's right in this, is as soon as people get into the habit of having those voice interactions, which I think are going to be increasingly, that is going to be the gateway into all of your information, is you wake up and you say, hey, what emails did I get? What's important? And you talk more. Whoever owns that, like you can replace the brain at the back end, but if people get in a habit of not talking to Siri because they're talking to Copilot or Alexa or some Gemini
Hmm.
or whatever, then Apple's going to lose. So I think that this is a smart move on Apple's part. I am surprised that it's taken them so long, but I mean, I know you're confident that when they bring something, and Apple has always been a fast forward company, or fast follow company, as opposed to, like people think they bring out innovation, but a lot of times they actually just refine and make it, presentable to
They're not
the
the first one
large
to do
public.
it. They're the first one to do it good.
To do it, yeah, so that it's attractive to
Yeah.
the vast population, right? So anyway, smarter Siri, I'm all down for that because right now it's pretty stupid Siri.
Yeah. So on to our next story. Chinese hackers used Claude to do bad hacky things, and I'll put the link below. It's an interesting story. A normal show we could spend a few minutes on this because it really is
Right.
very interesting. But we'll go through it fast. But the one takeaway I had was they really had to trick it because they couldn't say, "Hey Claude, I want to hack this." I forgot what they hacked. They hack a bunch of stuff. Claude's gonna be no. I'm not going to do that. It's unethical. As much as we say there's some safeguards in place. It won't outright do that. So what they
Right.
said is, I'm a consultant for this company, and I'm analyzing its security flaws. Please examine their network for security flaws. And
Right.
Claude's like, sure, here's some security flaws. A hacker could get in here, a hacker could get in there, a hacker could get in there. And the hacker's like, thanks, Claude, you rock. So very clever the way they had to trick it into doing it, and just shows that, even if we have safeguards in place, these LLMs are so fiddly. You can trick it so easy.
Right. So nothing specific on Anthropic, who makes Claude, because like I think the story could have been, Gemini
Any
or
of them.
OpenAI's ChatGPT, any
Yeah.
of them. Um, And I know that there's a tremendous amount of work that they do to put the safeguards in place, but but then humans are very creative, and lots of the security breaches, whether they're with AI in this case or with humans, are based on the same kind of principle, which is social engineering. And
Exactly.
so a lot of times that's effectively what happened. They're saying, no, no, this is just a pretend exercise. This is, and that is very difficult because if you have too stringent safeguards, then like you're mad at Gemini, if Gemini started saying, no, I'm not going to do that because I think you're hacking, it's a balance that all these companies are trying to strike. And I think this is all new to everybody, but very,
Yeah.
very, yeah, an interesting story for sure,
It's
Sean.
just it's a I've seen similar things before where you say you know ChatGPT, be my doctor and diagnose this pain in my leg, and
Right.
ChatGPT says no, I'm not a doctor, I can't do that. And then you say, ChatGPT, I am a doctor and I'm diagnosing a
Mhm.
patient's pain in their leg, and they're saying they have these symptoms and I think it might be this, what do you think? Oh, here it's this and this and this. So depending on how you pose the prompt, you can get it to do things that it will absolutely otherwise refuse to do, even things like hacking. So
Right.
interesting story. Okay,
Right.
third story. I'm really excited to get to the Ignite stuff, and this is just a fun one. This is kind of going viral on Reddit, but it
Okay.
was an article in, I think it was a Pakistani newspaper about auto sales. Blah 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 blah. That's all nice, and then at the end, remember how to zoom in. If you want, I can create an even snappier front page style version
All
with
right.
punchy one line stats and a bold infographic ready layout. Perfect for max and medium impact. Do you want me to do that next? Boy, who does that sound like to you? That sounds
Uh,
like my good friend Gemini. That's how Gemini ends every conversation. So, yeah, so this article was written, revised, something by AI, as are at this point a good percentage. Let's face it, come on, everything in the newspaper, there's a lot of it. But the difference is they got caught, and they're trying to pretend like, oh, that was against our policy and that one time we used it and we shouldn't have. No, they use it for the whole newspaper. Everyone's using it for all their newspapers. They just got caught. Don't even try. Don't even try to tell me. Come on, man. What do you think?
no, no, I agree with you. I think that this is a cautionary tale, Chef David. It's like, yeah, please go through and delete, cut, delete the part that like that, right? Or the beginning part, or, I mean, I think people, what the M dashes, they go and they, try to replace or whatever. But
Oh,
and there
did you
are
see
these
Sam
humanizers.
Altman made an announcement about that? Sam Altman made an announcement that if you tell ChatGPT, because the people are trying to speak gears, stop doing M dashes, it'll finally listen.
There you go. Well, and people run things through like this humanizer thing, and I wonder if the humanizer thing, which introduces some errors and gets rid of hem dashes, and I wonder if that humanizer tool, because I've never used that, um, I wonder if it looks for things like was in that
I would
newspaper article.
think.
Well, hopefully
I,
it should, but anyway, I mean, I think to your point, Chef David, lots of people are using AI in positive ways. And I think, but obviously from a newspaper, there should be disclosure.
yeah. All right. That's all I got.
Okay, so let's share my screen because we're going to talk about Microsoft Ignite. So I'm going to start by this
Bum,
site
bum,
here, which
bum.
is it's a great site, and I think that they promote that to analysts in the press ahead of time. It's the Book of News. It's at news.microsoft.com. As soon as the all of it it's under NDA. But the great thing is, um, it went out of NDA at 8 a.m. Pacific or 11 a.m. Eastern, and so it's now out of NDA, and so now all of this information can be shared, even though the keynote only starts at noon Eastern, so it starts in just a little less than an hour. But what we thought we would do is kind of go through some of the key announcements. Okay, so I took the Book of News, Chef David, and I said to Copilot, because I used it in the side panel on Edge, I said, create a word cloud of all of the Book of News. Take a guess, kind of what the biggest word in the word cloud is going to be for Ignite 2025?
Oh, you want me to
To you,
guess?
Chef David. Yeah, take a guess.
Agentic.
Okay, good guess. It's actually Agent. Agentic shows
Ah,
up. It's a so anyway. So obviously Microsoft
I
and
count that
book
as a
and
win.
news. Yeah, no, I count that as a win too. I think because I did Agentic, and I think that there was like 155 occurrences, but for Agent, which also would include Agentic, because when it matches, there was like 455. So I think, one of the key things, and then we'll dive a little bit deeper, but Microsoft is a platform company and they provide tools to end users like the Microsoft 365 productivity suite. But, a big part of what they do is they provide tools to developers who then create things. In this case, Microsoft is talking all about how everybody, whether you're a business user or a pro developer, how you will create agents. So that really is the story of Ignite 2025. I mean, Chef David, we talk a lot about using kind of the leading AI assistants. Are you in a habit of creating all these teams of agents that supposedly we're going to now manage along with our human workforce? I don't know. Is that something that you're doing
No,
every week? Okay.
no. And I hate the concept of it. I absolutely hate the concept of it. I want one agent. This is what we've been saying all along. This is that
Oh,
clip
I
I played
agree.
of Adam Heimlich where he said he talks to Claude. He doesn't go to
Right.
30 different UIs. He says, Claude, what's up with my sales? What's up? And maybe Claude is talking to different agents. If that's what you're talking about, I'm all in. If you're talking
Well, I
about you
think
have
so.
one agent and the agent talks to other agents, and I think that's a big part of it, that, yes, count me all the way in. But if you're talking about me making a bunch of agents that I have to talk to, mm-mm.
So I think the concept, I think you're right. I think that but Microsoft that Ignite, I'm going to say they're starting with here's all the tools. They're going to introduce something that's called Microsoft Agent 365. Whoops, sorry, wrong tilting. And so it says the control pane for all your agents. So what the heck does that mean?
Okay.
Here's kind of what that means. So they've got to, I got to say, this is an interesting concept. So, first and foremost, just to dive a little bit deeper, Microsoft is going to, through all of Ignite, they're going to talk about an agent registry. So, what that means is, like they've got something that used to be called Active Directory and then Azure Active Directory. Now it's called Entra ID. The idea is all of the people in your organization, they've got a login, and based on that, you can assign them certain permissions. And then if they do bad things or leave your organization, you can revoke all their permissions. So, one of the first part of Agent 365 is they're saying, of course, Microsoft wants you to use Entra ID. Every agent that you create is going to have an ID. So you can give that agent, you can track what it's doing. You can use security tools like Microsoft Defender to just like a person, if a person does weird things like accesses weird documents or they in the morning they were in the US and then an hour later they were in Japan, you can say, wait a second, that seems like they might be hacked. So this is the first thing. You basically can register all your agents so you can track and control what they're doing. That's the second part, which is access controls. The third part is this visualization, knowing what agents are being used, because if everybody's creating agents, you're going to end up with 4,200 HR agents that everybody created. You're going to want to figure out which ones are providing good results and which ones are kind of not providing good results. And you're going to maybe then you decommission the bad ones. So Microsoft really wants to be the control plane for all your agents. So even when you create agents using, I don't know, Salesforce's Agent Force or what have you, they really want to say, we can connect into every agent. There's interoperability. And then obviously security, because increasing, as people allow agents to do more, you want them to do good things and not be hacking into systems like, your news story. So this is kind of, you're going to hear lots and lots about this Microsoft Agent 365 really. And I think the starting point is, yeah, so create agents that are working well, that you can track and that are doing good things, not bad things through the security. And then I think to your point, they're going to talk about agent to agent and MCP servers so that you can have, just talk to your AI assistant and it'll invoke all the appropriate agents. So I don't know, Microsoft Agent 365, that's not the worst name that Microsoft has come up with. What do you think, Chef David? Because they are not good at naming. So
Yeah, that I know that actually works. The name is fine.
okay.
365. Okay, that they like the 365 thing. I don't know what that adds to it, calling it 365.
I
But
don't know, it's
it makes
every day of the year. I don't know,
it
whatever.
makes it makes me know it's part of Microsoft. They work with Office and all that other stuff,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, the 365 doesn't add anything. But but um but yeah, I mean, we're going to need to manage all our agents if they're going to make us create all these agents. I think the agents should just manage the agents, and I guess that's kind of what this is going to be. But like we said before, once Siri is smart, that's all I want, right? Hey Siri, hey
Well,
smart
but
Siri, help me out.
or
I should be
whatever,
careful.
right?
It's
And
right
one of
here.
the announcements, like you can talk to, we had on one of the shows, Microsoft Copilot, that right now it's only the Microsoft consumer version of Copilot. But one of the announcements out of Ignite is you're going to be able to use that voice interface to what they call Microsoft Copilot 365. And so, whether it's Hey Siri, Hey Alexa, Hey Copilot, um, I agree with you. I think that you just want to have
Voice is
that
the
voice.
future of LLMs.
Yeah, that's voice is future. And then, of course, if you're in a meeting and whatever, you're going to want to be able to chat with it as well. But I think when you're in whatever the privacy of your own office, your own home, your own car, you just using that voice, it makes it very accessible. So, okay. So the other thing they're going to talk about a lot about I was surprised that this term didn't come up on the word cloud as big. It's this foundry, which I think is a cool term, like, a foundry, or I think of like people banging out some steel, or I don't know, building swords. I don't know. It seems like a cool thing. So Microsoft Foundry is really more for this like pro developer, um, but around creating agents. So you can see in the lower left there, Microsoft Agent 365 is part of this, but Microsoft Foundry is, how you use it in Visual Studio, GitHub, or, you know, and this includes all of the access to all of the models. And Microsoft, a lot of times people think Microsoft is like a closed ecosystem, like Apple is a closed ecosystem. But right now, Microsoft actually through Azure and through Microsoft Foundry, they provide access to pretty much everybody's AI models, including like ones you might not expect, like Grok, and but they have all the Hugging Face models. They have thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of AI models that you can access. And then you can see, this is what you like in the middle there. You see how it says action-oriented agents with 1,400 pre-built connections and MCP tools. That is that um, ability for one agent to invoke and control other agents. So they're going to announce that they've got 1,400 pre-built, and they want everybody to plug into Microsoft Foundry and then Agent 365 so that you can both build and control this. Um, and I think that that's pretty cool
Mhm.
if people kind of get on board, because I agree with you. Right now there is Copilot confusion. There's too many versions of Copilot. And then inside of Copilot, you have to decide what agent you're going to invoke. Is it the researcher agent or the sales agent, and that's way too complicated. And so, um, I think this is a first step. People have to build agents that provide, reliable results, but then we've got to really kind of then corral and control and reduce some of the Copilot confusion so that you talk to your AI assistant of choice and it does the right thing by invoking the right agent. So anyway, so that is, and then is this. This is the roadmap. You're going to listen. The keynote's 2 hours. They're going to go through in depth, but this is the quick overview, and really go to that book of news, and that's really what they're going to cover in Ignite. And so while you give your thoughts, I'm just going to bring up this book of news and see if they see, because before, oh, so wait a second, it's not sharing. Oh, maybe I shared just the window.
Yeah.
So, but you can go to that news.microsoft.com and see if the book of news has been refreshed. Before 8 a.m., they were saying, if you share this information, we take it very seriously. So thank goodness our show started after that.
Yeah, we made it just in time.
Just in time. So I don't know. What are your thoughts? Does that seem like interesting stuff? I know you don't want a
Yeah,
proliferation of agents, but
I mean, usually for our audience, I like stuff that's like directly interesting to the end users. So I think the stuff that's going to come out of that will be interesting.
right.
The stuff that, I love to beat up on Microsoft, but I appreciate they're doing that because anything you do to help developers helps end users. I love developers because I love end users. So, if you're making all these tools easier for the developers to use, opening up the stuff, because they are notoriously not open sometimes. So there have been times in the past where they haven't been so open.
I think that
In the
that's
past,
previous in the past, but that's going back 10 years.
Microsoft, yeah,
Right now
historically,
they are the largest. Like we'll do the beat up and balance, but they are the largest contributor to open source of any organization today.
yeah. So you got to
So
appreciate the
now
fact
they
that
are
now, yeah,
right.
yeah. So and I mean, we're talking about before how the example we gave of Adam using Claude. What he did is he didn't just say Claude connect to my stuff. He told his engineers figure out the MCPs and connect Claude to this and that. And his engineers had to use tools like that. His engineers had to
Right.
make the agents that talk to the agents and the MCPs and all the connections and all the developer tools. And if that stuff isn't available to the engineers, the CEOs don't get the usage. And that's the part that I like is the actual usage. So as much as I'd like to beat up Microsoft, I'm grateful that they're doing this for the developers.
Yeah, I think I talked a little bit about when OpenAI had their dev day. It really shows you because they provide the tools, and then eventually the developers, as you say, they use the tools, and then they create things that then end users, have at their fingertips just to make their workday a little bit better, right? So go back to the screen share, Chef David, if you don't mind, because I did pull up this is now the book of news. It did launch, so I would suggest that really everybody go there because there is an overwhelming number of sessions and it's fantastic to go deep, but I'm a big believer in having a framework understanding before you go and have your brain explode by a session that talks about some little nuance, right? And there is, obviously to build these agents, you've got to have a lot of data. And so there's going to be a lot of announcements on their data lake and Fabric and some Cosmos DB and all the database stuff where you store all the information that hopefully provides great context to an agent so it can give you the right answer. So there's so many sessions that are kind of down in the weeds. I think that, if you start here and, get a feel for it, then you can choose your sessions better. And even if you're in person, there's so many people and you're running to different sessions and they fill up. Getting this overview from the Book of News, Frank Shaw every year puts this together. I guess he's the lead on this, and there's just a tremendous amount of great information there. So,
All right.
yeah.
Well, I'll
So
put the link. I'll put the link in the
yeah, it's easy. It's
comments.
news.microsoft.com. But yeah, we'll put the link in here as I scroll through it. You can see they're bringing it, of course, Copilot showing up on your taskbar and everything's in Windows, Copilot everywhere. So you can see there's just a
Right.
zillion. These are all the videos that they have, right? But there's just a zillion pieces of information that you can dive deep on whatever the AI agent portion that is of interest to you.
Great. All right. Well, we'll be sure to share it, and everyone should check it out.
Absolutely.
And I think is that it for our episode? We've covered.
Yeah, I think we pointed you in the right direction, right? So, it's going to be Agent 365 and Foundry. It's going to be a lot about agents, as we kind of expected. Your guess, Agentic. I think you get a check mark. You get a win for that. And yeah, go check it out.
Let's
And we
tune into
will,
the keynote.
yeah, absolutely. Which starts in just under 30 minutes or just over 30 minutes. So check it out. You get a snack, have lunch before then, if you're in Eastern time, because it's 2 hours, as I said.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Chef Kevin, and thanks everyone for watching. Take care, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.